Action.
Action. I will stay. Okay, well, as everyone knows that's ever been to one of our conferences, I'm a little bit of a stickler for running on time and being respectful of everyone's morning. So just want to give a very quick welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. For some of you again, for another conference. We may have some new faces join us as well. We're thrilled to still be having another ACDS fall conference, even in the wake of all of whichever variant of COVID we're on at this point. So I don't want to take too much time because I know Tandy's going to say a couple of things and then we're going to turn it over to Will. But thank you all again so much, and we'll be seeing you throughout the day.
Thank you, Whitney. And yes, I'm just going to make a couple of quick things because I know we all want to, we're here to hear from Will Staley. So we're going to make this very quick. Just want to make a mention that, yes, we are doing this virtual conference today just for our fall conference, but we will be back with you. Everything crossed in the spring for a full-blown day-long conference, hopefully there at UCA again. So please be watching out for a save the date. We are looking at very late March or mid-April, trying to work around a couple of other events that are around that time as well. So just keep your eyes out. We'll have that coming out very soon. Just a quick recognition of our sponsors: East Arkansas Crossroads Coalition, the Rural Development Community Alliance, and Entergy for helping us with the sponsorships for our little mini conference today. So thank you for that. And a big shout out to our planning committee. We had quite a few of our ACDS, Arkansas Community Development Society board members participate on the planning committee. And a big special shout out to Michelle Perez and Tiffany Henry for their work in securing our guest speakers and being able to help kind of introduce them and get everything arranged for them. So appreciate you all in sponsoring and helping with the planning for this. Now, without further ado, I want to pass this over to Michelle to introduce our guest speaker for this morning. And so we'll let her take the mic.
Awesome. Thank you, Tandy, and good morning. It is my pleasure today to introduce our first speaker of the day, Will Staley. Will is the founder and executive director of Thrive, a nonprofit design firm in Helena-West Helena, Arkansas. As an Arkansas native, Will studied at the University of Arkansas School of Architecture and received his BFA in graphic design at the Kansas City Art Institute in 2004. He also has a master's of industrial design from Pratt in New York City, where Thrive was birthed as a thesis project. Will's background also includes the Smithsonian Institute and serving as a fellow in the Department of Domestic Policy at the William J. Clinton Foundation in Harlem, New York. And though his background is impressive, and I didn't even cover half of it, something that I most admired about Will is his commitment to rural development and the way that he uses his creative talents to engage and empower rural youth in the betterment of their communities. So without further ado, Will, lead us in this session.
Okay, well, thank you, Michelle. This is quite an honor to be here, and I just hope I can live up to what you just talked about there. And let's see, I'm going to share my screen, my presentation here. Okay. Can everybody see that? Okie dokie. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Will Staley, and I'm co-founder and executive director of Thrive, Inc., a community-centric nonprofit design firm based in Helena, Arkansas since 2009. There's a lot of familiar faces in the room. I really appreciate this chance to do a virtual presentation. Some of you guys have seen some of my team members in the past at presenting, and it's just finally really fun to be in the same graces of those guys. And well, I'm looking forward to just telling you what we got going on. So Today, I'd like to tell you about what Thrive is, where it's been, and how we've adjusted our programs and services to meet the challenges of social interaction during COVID-19. I'll also throw in a couple of fun videos, talk about a new project we're excited about, and end with some time for Q&A if we have time for that. So it's really fun to be around a group that probably cares about vision and mission statements. So here's our vision. All communities will have access to the joy and vibrance of good design. This is a new vision statement for us. We've been doing a lot of retooling since 2019, which I'll get to here in a second. But we refer to design in a broad context that includes placemaking, public art, architecture, graphic design, and more. As a staff of 2 graphic designers, and with Sarah Melby and Ryan Biles, and an architect, we care a lot about the human experience and making that experience better however we can. This is the basis of so much of what we do at Thrive. And we've seen that change, the change that design can deliver to communities. We work towards that vision by empowering rural communities to thrive through good design and youth engagement. We know the word good is very subjective, but to us, good means design that promotes community and is considered input from a wide and diverse set of stakeholders rather than your usual suspects or dream team. We all know when it comes down to working in small communities, a lot of times it's the same people carrying the water, and we really try and broaden that group. And I promise this will be the last bit of nonprofit formality. These are our major goals. I'll let you kind of look through those real quick because it gives a good snapshot of where we're going and what we care about. Goal 1 responds to our branding services that we provide to rural, mostly Arkansas cities and organizations in an effort to help economic revitalization efforts. Goals 2 through 4 are focused on how we feel we can help the overall community development of where we live in Phillips County without duplicating efforts. These goals are addressed primarily within our after-school services, which I'll speak about shortly. But really, our areas of focus and work, they overlap a lot, and we've kind of created something that's like an ecosystem, which a lot of you can probably understand and relate to, because when you're dealing with restricted resources, you try and get creative. We have 2 distinct ways we serve our communities. The first one being branding design, and the other being youth services. So first I'll talk about our branding. At Thrive, we design robust branding packages for cities, chambers of commerce, school districts, and who we like to call, most recently, Main Street anchor tenants. We guide our clients through the process of brand discovery, which includes a stakeholder workshop, which many of you have been a part of in the past, followed by the creation of a creative brief document, which summarizes the views of the group onto one page. We found that the process, although meant to be a tool to guide the creative team, can symbolize a new path forward and be really effective, especially if our clients have invited a wide and inclusive range of voices to the table. Featured here is Buren Arkansas. Some of you are probably wondering, what does he mean by branding? It's a big word, it means all kinds of things. I'll focus on Lone Oak, Arkansas for a minute because I think it's a great example of how design can be used to promote community. And I promise I'm not just saying this because our Director of Development, Ryan Biles, is a city alderman, which a lot of you guys know Ryan. Lone Oak, Arkansas approached us because they felt like the original logo mark of the city was outdated. It outdated them and wasn't a fit anymore. Lone Oak also knew they had great potential for population growth due to their proximity of the Air Force Base and the city of Little Rock. Excuse me. After completing the important step of developing a strategic plan with assistance from UCA's Community Development Institute Kickstart program, We worked with them to create a logo, website, printed materials, and other deliverables that represents a fresh beginning and fresh leadership. It's really important for me to harp on that whole kickstart any kind of strategic planning program before you bring in a branding team. A lot of people want the one-page creative brief to do the work and the heavy lifting of a strategic planning process. It does some of that work, but not like understanding that you have this bullet point that says branding on a list and that you've got to get it done. We're very familiar with working in both scenarios. The latter, if you can work with a team to do strategic planning, it is definitely recommended. I mentioned Main Street Acre tenants earlier, and again, thanks to the momentum that was built by volunteers in Lone Oak, a local couple decided to step up and create a new restaurant and community space called the Grumpy Rabbit American Eatery. This is from the architect on the project and, of course, team member Ryan Biles. Since the restaurant has opened, Lone Oak has seen a 28% increase in A&P restaurant tax revenues in the first 6 months of 2021, and are the largest grossing restaurant, third largest grossing restaurant in town after interstate-oriented fast food establishments. This kind of collaboration between private and public partners is great to see, and it's truly working for Lone Oak. This is a very fun project, and a lot of the credit with this goes to Associate Creative Director Sarah Melby. The other half of what Thrive does is the Creative Leadership Program. Through the CLP, we work with local high school and community college students to implement community development projects in Phillips County. These projects not only beautify our spaces and create more recreational opportunities for residents, but also provide students the chance to develop personal and career skills through instruction and mentorship. One section of our 3-part student program is our Civic Workshops. This is kind of the bread and butter of what we do here. And we're actually in the midst of a workshop this week, and we'll be in another one next week. This is where we work with our students for a week each month during the school year to enhance our surrounding area through community service. As a registered community service learning site within the Arkansas Department of Education, students can earn credit towards graduation by working with us on various projects throughout the city of Helena-West Helena. Featured here are 3 public art projects that were created by our students during the 2021 school year. During these projects, we teach design fundamentals, craftsmanship, painting techniques, communication, and project planning. There's so many different concepts that we touch on in these things, and a lot of it has to do with just simple mentorship and creating relationships with these students. So featured here is Martin Luther King Justice mural on the left. We did this I Am the Future mural. We have a small video to show you in a second just about that. And then this is one of 3 fun river motif crosswalks that we're doing in downtown Helena right now. And the students decided to do some kind of Abbey Road thing there. In addition to our mural projects, we create healthy activities for families that can double as attractions for visitors. Like our Harborview Trail project. The Harborview Trail was a small idea from a local high school student that has grown into a much larger project. The trail is a mile-long walking and hiking loop located in the Helena River Park on the Mississippi River that doubles as a kayaking and canoeing trail for the portion of the year that the Mississippi River floods. Beyond the work to actually blaze the trail as a team, students discuss and learn about related topics ranging from ecology to exhibition design. Up in the top left, Cameron and Kyron are working on our fun side-by-side with a mower that actually really helps get the job done efficiently. And then we're putting in these mile markers here in the middle. And then actually on the right, our students are installing these fun animals that you can see while you're walking on the trail. So we have to kind of constantly come up with content for our workshops. And one of the fun ideas we came up with during a wintry, kind of like way too cold and wet month was to create these fun outdoor animals that you would see out there that are natural to the environment. So that's a fun little deer right there. So to complement the service learning project, we provide art and design workshops as well. To the left, recently awarded local Emmy Award-winning filmmaker Nolan Dean is leading a screenwriting workshop through a partnership with the Arkansas Cinema Society. And this is the workshop that I mentioned that's happening actually this afternoon. On the right, students took part in our website design workshop where they create a logo and website design for a small business. This actually happened last summer, and one of our students was actually offered 2 jobs after we made a Facebook post about it. So that was really neat. So providing a clear path for students that are interested in pursuing a career in arts-related field is a goal of ours. And because of that, we offer laptop checkouts and offer office hours for students to complete self-directed learning. So we know that skills developed through these community design projects are transferable to any job setting, but we also want to establish a clear and smooth path for our students to have creative job opportunities come from their experience at Thrive. Cameron Williams here is our best example of a student who literally thrived in our program and has earned local jobs using skills he developed. Pictured here, Cameron is revitalizing the previously vandalized sign for the Mississippi River State Park. So this is an instance where our relationship with Christina Root at the Mississippi River State Park, they called and said, oh my gosh, we have this vandal that just messes with all our signs. Do you have any of your students that might be able to help us? And this is kind of the impetus for us thinking about how great it could be if we created a summer internship. So we ended up having Cameron and Larry, who works with us kind of almost full-time now in an internship capacity. And we're gonna continue to build on that momentum starting in the spring semester. So for many of you in this virtual meeting today, you might have been wondering, what happened to Thrive's past programming? What do you guys do? I just want to kind of approach that just a little bit. The answer is that from the beginning, we've been listening to the Helena community to tell us what it wants. We began by operating a small business incubator called the Helena Entrepreneur Center, and then added to that with our Cherry Street Fair block party. After these experiences kind of played out over 8 years, we found that working alongside youth was a special and common denominator where we saw success with both the Cherry Street Fair and with our subsequent design mentorship program hosted at Helena Central High School. The idea of teaching design to students while simultaneously serving the community was something that had gained traction and seemed like a more sustainable solution positioned for creating the next generation of local creative leaders. With that traction and sustainability in mind, we began focusing on community development efforts, primarily on youth engagement. So it kind of exhausts me to think about where we've been in as an organization. A lot of you can probably identify. But adapting to major unexpected changes beginning in 2019 proved to be the impetus for what we call Thrive Model 3.0. How many of you guys are in like Model 5.0 and 6 and 7.0? I can't wait to be where you are. A large part of what changed our trajectory was the discontinuation of our design mentorship program services contract with Central High School. This caused us to focus primarily on our after-school on-site program, a change we wanted, but a massive change nonetheless, and one that meant moving offices. That said, the biggest unexpected change was the announcement by my co-founder, of his departure from Thrive in January of 2019 for family-related reasons. We operated a skeleton crew during the start of 2019-2020, during that school year, offering your classic graphic design classes from our workshop. And then you guessed it, the coronavirus pandemic swept through the world and caused us, like many, to go virtual with our students beginning in March of 2020. We tried carrying on through the remainder of the school year with virtual design training, but it was a strategy that we knew wasn't effective or sustainable. There was just a general, kind of like, just, I don't know how to describe it, but lethargy. Just our students were kind of just not wanting to engage. And a lot of you that have kids at home, I know you can probably identify with remembering what it was like with them as everyone was kind of trying to figure out what's up. So coincidentally, COVID restrictions are what helped us convert to a purely after-school outdoor workshop format, a format that is the right fit for our small staff and one that renewed interest from our students to get back involved with us. This model of after-school workshops not only keeps our small staff from being stretched too thin. We were operating those graphic design classes Monday through Friday. It was ridiculous. But it also gives creative and leadership-minded students an additional option for after-school activities. The large amount of time spent outdoors painting and trailblazing also means students get to interact with their community in an often new way and exposes them to the joy of outdoor creation. I'm going to attempt to share a video with you. Okay.
Well, I got involved because we just needed something to do after school, really.
It's different from what I usually do. Like, I never really just painted a lot until I came here.
Cool. So it's productive and it's a way to hang out with my friends.
It's a lot of hands-on stuff that we do. We done painted a few murals. We painted fire hydrants.
We did some signs last week for the census.
Sometimes we decorate and make props and stuff for the Warfield concerts, and the people can interact with it.
The mural says, "I am the future." Yeah, that's what it says. I think this message is important because I don't know how else to say it other than it's for everybody. Because, I mean, with me still being in school, I still, have a chance to change the future and be the future.
I'm excited about this because I feel like it's going to shift the whole culture of my city right now. Simply because it's been a lot of violence. And, I mean, if you bring a little color to it, maybe it'll just change the way people may think of something. Maybe they would choose a different place to participate in different actions like this, simply because they can see this as a friendly zone because of so many colors. This one specifically is on the side of the kids' building, on the side of their school. So if they getting dropped off every day for however long they here and they seeing this, they just gonna know that they are the future and that they have a chance to be whatever it is that they want to.
It's motivational in a way, also because of where I come from.
I just don't want to be a product of my environment too much. Because I know it's not all peaches and cream here, but it's not anywhere. But I do want to be better. And I don't want to be afraid to do what I want to do.
I feel like the more we do, the more we spread around the city, then the more positivity can be spread around the city as well.
I think it adds color to the town. It used to look like this years ago. And I think over time it kind of wore away. But I feel like Thrive is bringing it back.
Okay, we get to work with awesome kids, you guys. So murals are a great storytelling tool that we can use to get a sense of a town's personality. Once we made the change to designing workshop content that helped repair the brand of our city, we noticed quite a bit of overlap between our two service offerings. Because we're a branding firm that works alongside an architect, that also works with local youth on public art and recreation projects, we now have the tools necessary to be able to consult and design placemaking projects as a logical new service and be able to offer paid internships to qualified juniors and seniors of our program. We're pretty excited about this natural evolution. And really much of this evolution is thanks to our friend, Kevin Pringle, who in 2018 was a Central High School student that after a little questioning, confessed that he liked to be doing anything outside, especially anything outside the classroom, especially hunting rabbits. We weren't gonna go hunting rabbit with him, but we kind of opted for the next best thing, which was blazing a trail. From there, we created the groundwork for the first of 3 trails within the Helen Adventure Trail system, a concept created as of April 2021, but made possible by program partners that collided in Helena between 2019 and today. Kind of tail end of this presentation is going to be about this kind of new, interesting thing that's happening here in Helena. So after getting approval from longtime outdoor tourism advocate Phillips County Judge Clark Hall and Helena's Mayor Kevin Smith, the UAMS State Physical Action Network and our local Phillips County Community Cooperative Extension Service created a local committee focused on making Helena a city that supports bicycle and pedestrian activity. This first partnership enabled us to continue developing the design of the Harborview Trail, a 1-mile hiking loop in the woodland marsh of the Helena River Park. As you can see on here, we've created all these fun little, almost like Disney World-esque names, and this is where we've kind of put in place those animals that we painted. So we're really trying to orient it towards outdoor fun for families as well as exercise. The second trail of the group is the Helena Ridge Ride. It's a 37-mile trail that winds through the St. Francis National Forest and takes you next to the Mississippi River. This span partnership is not only an initiative that increases local quality of life, but recognizes the potential for outdoor bike visitors to the Delta Heritage Trail State Park to the south and the Mississippi River State Park and United States Bike Route 80 to the north, making Helena a great midway stop on a bicycling route connecting the 2 state parks. Featured here is a trail signage and ad that we created for the Helena Advertising and Promotions Commission last month to promote the new attraction. So this happened pretty fast, and being close to Helena and working close with the new A&P director, we were able to create a Google map of what you're seeing on the right and go ahead and get it live on the website, the A&P's website. SPAN's effort in Helena was then complemented by Winrock International securing of a USDA Rural Placemaking Innovation Challenge grant. Now facilitated by Winrock, this partnership is enabling the design and painting of downtown bike murals, crosswalks, a bike rest station, and an informational brochure for visiting bike riders. We expect most of these pieces to be done mid-22, you know, like we said, the trail does flood and becomes a kayaking trail. So we're working against kind of that whole flooding piece, but at the very least, we'll have the canoeing and kayaking piece up with trail signage so you can come see us. We'll make sure that you guys know when it's definitely open. Last and not least, The Big River Loop is the trail project funded by the Arkansas Delta Regional Obesity Program, a project funded by Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and operated by the University of Arkansas's Division of Agriculture Extension Office. The result of a community stakeholder collaboration, this 2-mile walking and biking loop gives our downtown population access to the healthy exercise opportunities of the Helena River Park and the new Harbor View Trail through a robust wayfinding project. Along the route, pedestrians are alerted of mileage and essential tourism sites are highlighted for those visiting off the giant riverboats that dock at the boat ramp. In this project, we've worked really hard to source Delta contractors on working with Ryan Biles. He's been working really hard on beginning to cultivate, great steel manufacturers and getting pretty sophisticated treatments like chemical etching and engraving done to these Corten steel signs. So it's really exciting, and it should be a really beautiful project for Helena. With that, I want to close by playing a short video featuring the Harbor View Trail project. And then we'll open it up for questions.
I like this tree a lot. It could be that we go around this tree, or maybe we just go through this tree. So basically those two trees right there are really like a big gateway statement when you walk through here, and start to see a big opening, kind of cathedral. And so what we want to do is make it not only a hiking, biking, walking trail, but also a kayaking trail. Basically one trail where you can do both, because 5 months out of the year it floods down here. It'll be a rarity. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Right now we have financial backing from a couple of large funders for us just to be staff, but we don't have money for the actual production of the project, so we'll see.
Tell me what it is. I mean, since you've got the Harbor View Trail in Helena, is that right?
Yes, we're working with our area youth to create murals in the area, but also to create paths and trails, two kind of quality of life things that go by the wayside when you're in a community that doesn't have money for those kinds of nice things. That's what we're working on. That's what Thrive has kind of carved out as a way that it can help be a part of the community and economic development strategies here. And so we've done 3 to 4 murals in the area since the summer when we kind of launched this new program. Yeah, and now we're finally getting around to blazing this trail in the river park.
The first path with our new mower. We got most of the middle stuff that was in between like the tracks of the UTV cut, so now it feels more like a path in the woods rather than 2 paths.
And then we're also going to make this a fun kind of landscape for our art and design stuff. So we want to make some oversized birds and like mammals and things like that, and paint them and kind of hoist them from trees and have this be like a really like fun thing to do for kids and families.
This is the Delta Dino. So you're walking through the woods and it's all sweet and nice and you see all of these animals that are from the Delta, and then you go, wait, is that a dinosaur? It's just funny. And it's eating pizza.
Well, sweet. I'll probably circle back around here in the next couple weeks with maybe some more questions, but also plan on November 16, 17 heading out there.
All right. I'll send you a link to a couple of places to stay.
Perfect. Thank you. It was nice to meet you, Will.
Nice to meet you too. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
So we like marking every 1/10 of a mile, 528 feet. Make sure they know where they're going. Not just the activity, but it's like it's really nice. You know, you being surrounded by nature. You know, it connects to you in a spiritual way sometimes.
And I like walking the trail, and there be some deers out here, and be like a whole bunch of other animals, like wildlife and stuff. So my favorite part would probably be the wildlife.
The water. And it's a getaway. It's really a good getaway. Carrie took me out here for my birthday.
It's just peaceful. There's nothing like, you can forget everything, like all your thoughts and everything. You can come out here and just forget it because it's so beautiful and everything is so free.
This is like just a great melding of all my loves. Just coming out here and doing trail work. It's so fun. And then when they say, oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was going to be so great out here, that's super nice. So
I don't even want to graduate because I'm amazed like doing this stuff.
Y'all voted to the boogeyman actually show up.
No, like, I'm really gonna run. I'm really gonna run. Where you gonna run to? Back that way.
It's water that way, so where you gonna run to?
I'm gonna have to
It's
run
water
towards-
that way, so where you
I'ma
gonna
juke
run
him. I'm gonna juke him and then dive into the water and drown myself.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it really is. We're spoiled with the kind of work we get to do. It is so fun. So with that, just want to say thanks so much for listening. And I hope our example can be helpful to some of you within today's mini conference. There might be a couple nuggets to pluck from there. We at Thrive love to partner on branding and placemaking projects. So if we can help you, please reach out to me at will@thrivecenter.org. Also, we have a new opportunity, like a lot of you that are hiring. This is a time when a lot of people are hiring. But please apply for our program coordinator position and tell everyone you know about it. Kind of preference will be given to, of course, people that are from the Delta and know the Delta. Like I said, please spread the word. We have a job description associated with that QR code right there. So if you want to just take your phone and take a photograph of that, it'll take you straight to the PDF job description. And with that, I'll turn it over to you guys and we can have Q&A section if you'd like. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Will. I'm going to give you a round of applause. I don't know if you guys know how to do that on your Zoom, but that was just a phenomenal story that you told. And I think that it was so impactful to hear it directly from the students' mouths of the impact that you are making in their lives and in your community. And so this is the Q&A section. And so I invite anyone, if you have a question, please feel comfortable and free to unmute and ask the question, or you can put it in the chat box and I will read it out loud. And as you are thinking of those questions, I will kick it off. And so Will, in that spirit of changing lives, clearly we did hear how you have made an impact in the community of Helena and in each of those students. I'm curious to hear though about the impact that the community has made on you and your family and how working in that community has changed you over the past few years.
Boy, oh boy. Appreciate that one. No, it is really, the community is really kind of intertwined with my DNA now in a weird way. It's been 12 years and, we've shared, it's like a family, you share ups and downs, you share tragedies, and then you become really bonded, right? I'm an Arkansas boy, born and raised, but I did go off to college and we did make trips through the Delta to go see my grandmother in Greenwood, Mississippi. So the landscape is familiar, but I certainly never thought that I would be spending my life for the better part in Helena. So it's a little bit of a surprise, and it's been just kind of like a trust and the intuition kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, Helena affects a lot of people. I think Sarah Melby would say the same thing. I think Ryan Biles, even though he doesn't live here, can feel the potential and of making an impact here, and it's been really good, I think, in a lot of ways. So appreciate that question.
So what advice or starting point would you give to someone who does live in a community that has so much potential and opportunity, but they don't know how to start? They don't know how you connect with the school district or how do you form those relationships? What advice would you give to someone who doesn't have like an official organization backing them in this work?
Yeah. Well, I guess as someone, the advice that my 20-year-old self would have been given would be like, just find what, just isn't being done and just jump in there, and be creative and innovative. Because like, there's just so many low-hanging fruit. I think the advice I would give right now is to just focus on building relationships with people that have been doing it for a while. Go to meetings, invite yourself to meetings, and see if there's a way that you can lend a hand to something that's already going on and begin to build trust with those people that have been doing it for a while, and take on some responsibilities where you proved that you can execute something. And then when something really strikes your heart as something where you feel like you were made to address, I think that's when, to take that step into seeing if there are people that might want to be interested in coming alongside you and addressing that issue. So it's kind of weird for us because we came to the table with like marketing skills and graphic design skills. So if we had an idea, we could just mock up a logo real quick and it looked official, which is kind of dangerous. And where other people would have to pay for that. So there was a lot of things we probably shouldn't have done in the past, but we did anyway. So, but anyway, yeah. like, oh, now that it has a website and a logo, it's a real thing. So
I love that. We do have a question from Regina. She says, thinking about the young lady who said she didn't want to graduate because she really enjoyed what she was doing. Do you all show how things so when you're working with the students, do you show them how the things that they're doing now can be translated into their future career opportunities?
Yeah, we're kind of always that annoying like parental figure that are like, and this is how this works, you know, and like, and you know how you could use this in the future. Yeah, we're constantly doing that and kind of going into aunt and uncle kind of mode, and still trying to be cool at the same time, so we're relevant. So yeah. But yes, definitely. And when students have an interest, and we know they have an interest in a certain kind of career path, we're just like kind of pushing them hard towards that when we see that they have just a real natural interest towards something.
And so thinking about, oh, Tandy, do you have a question?
I do have a little small question. Will, I've done some work with some youth on some trails that are probably a little less complicated than what I saw your youth working on, because I'm pretty sure that was maybe some dried kudzu that they were trying to rake away. Given that, I'm thinking that maybe maintenance of those trails might be something that you kind of have to plan going forward for. So is that something that, you just plan like each year, the youth that's coming up, that'll be a piece of what they do. Of course, bringing in some new aspects to it along the way. But I do know trails tend to have some maintenance side of that.
Yeah.
So can you speak to how you'll work through those?
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that is going to be a constant kind of thing to figure out. But this year was the first year where I feel like we've started to get a good handle on it. So once the water receded, once the ground dried out, we then hired our summer intern, Larry, to become essentially our trail maintenance operator. And so he comes once a week and he takes out the side-by-side with the mower and he takes out the loppers and he just drives the loop. And, that is a 1 hour max task, especially during the summer. Like right now, there's not a lot to cut, but, in the peak of the summer, like you said, you saw kudzu. Yeah, it can grow pretty fast. And then once the school year starts up, we go out there and we start kind of enhancing. And if we need to do maintenance, we do maintenance during those week-long workshops. So that's how it's built in right now. And so what I'm going to work on that I think is really important next is to create an activated group of volunteers, adult volunteers, that adopt the project with the community. So I created a Friends of the Mississippi River Park or the Helena River Park page. We're going to have like weenie roasts and things like that here in the next couple of weeks. We'll do something like that, or no, sorry, next month. And that's going to be extremely important towards the long range vision of the project. So yeah, that's definitely something that's on our minds. Great question.
Well, we have a question from Samantha. She says, a great presentation. She really enjoyed seeing the transition of your organization, but she asks, how do you measure success?
We have, so those goals that I presented at the very beginning are goals that we created to be able to measure. So one of the things that we really care about is measuring a very straightforward kind of measurable for us is, okay, our community is not teaching art and design skills. So can we mentor to our students, and can we be the advocates for any kind of career in art and design? So that's one thing that we're doing, is trying to keep on top of any of our students taking that next step towards a 2-year and 4-year degree. So yeah, and then we also have a student rubric where we are essentially, to become a paid intern, there are certain characteristics that we're trying to kind of get people thinking about, and those are super simple and kind of internal. So, you know, if someone comes in and they're a freshman or sophomore, you know, how are they, can we get them to mentor to, or can we get the older kids to mentor to the younger kids? And so we have a weekly meeting after the workshop where we're saying, you know, how did this person do on that? And once they get to a certain level, that's where we're going to start qualifying them for paid internships. So there's internal and external ones. We have some pretty specific ones for grants, but internally, it's the 4 goals that were at the very beginning of the presentation. So improving livability, literally how many projects, how many murals are going up? Like each workshop, we hope that a mural gets done, you know, or a basketball court gets painted, you know, things like that. And then, you know, in terms of quantity, and then creative career paths for high school students, like I said, monitoring kids. We have actually had, we're trying to create a pathway to the U of A's campus for their graphic design department. So we work with PCCUA. So the group from the School of Art came down last year, and they're actually trying to get a 2-and-2 program figured out so that you don't have to do 5 years of college if you want to transfer up to the U of A with your associates or something like an associate in AAS in graphic communications. So that's a big thing that if we get worked out, will be a really interesting way that we can help students, especially if they're interested in graphic design, just literally saving money in the pocket. And then the cultivating of our next generation of community-minded citizens, that's through our service learning pieces. So that's going to be a really hard one to monitor, but we got to figure out how to do that one. But great question.
Amy has a question in the chat. She says, it's probably more anecdotal stories at this point, but are you seeing more retention of these kids in the community? And can they see themselves in Helena long-term now that they are involved with Thrive?
I think we're not there yet. We can't see that yet. But I think introducing the idea of love for community and service, community service is still almost like a novelty kind of thing for us. So that's still something that's kind of like a huge long range. Oh my gosh, they go to college, they come back, they want to be in a leadership role, or they want to become a teacher here. We've seen it a couple times, but it's also something that we grapple with because we also know there are very good opportunities in other places and things like that. So, and we want to give them the best opportunity for them.
Well, we have time for one more question. Tandy sends an encouraging note in the chat. The videos are very moving, great promotional tool to encourage others to participate and get involved. Continue to thrive, she says. So I think that's a very good note to end on. We wish you continued thriving at Thrive and in Helena. We are so grateful to you, Will and Sarah and Ryan and everyone from the team who joined you here today. So thank you. So can you remind us one more time where we can learn more about you?
Yeah, you can go to thrivecenter.org. That's our website. And then again, if you're interested, we also have Thrive Helena is our Facebook page, and we also have an Instagram page. And don't forget to send that job posting around. We really need help with our after school program. So,
absolutely.
Thank you guys so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Will. And thank you to everyone who joined us today. Yes, good idea, Whitney. Let's give him another round of applause here. And so we hope you have a phenomenal afternoon and that we see you again at 2 p.m. where we will hear from Christy Way, the founder of Mule Kick in Malia. And now she has another place. And so you can find the registration link on our Facebook. And with that, thank you. Have a great lunch.
Well, we're not going to kick everybody off yet, Tiffany. We're going to move into our business session. So again, Will, thank you for your presentation. We appreciate it so much and appreciate the you sharing your stories and impacts. And I will admit to getting a little bit of misty-eyed on those videos. Very moving. Very, very good promotional tool. For those of you that are willing to stay on, we're going to have a little bit of a business session going after this. I do want to take a minute to recognize and say a thank you to Shelby and her team for setting up our Zoom links and the registration for these programs. So that has been very helpful. And Tiffany already mentioned about our 2 p.m. speaker. So if you need to register, go to arcds.org to register, or if you still have the link that CDI sent around, et cetera, you can still register through that link. Also, I want to circle back to Shelby to ask about that costume sitting on top of her head before we get into our business session.
I'll repost the YouTube video, but our staff and outreach, a lot of us are going to be out tomorrow. So we did our Halloween party today. I'm a slithery snake. And so I thought I'd leave it on my head for all of you guys. I'll post the YouTube video in the comments if anybody's not familiar with the infamous meme video from 2010 when I was in high school. So if anybody's interested.
Oh yeah, I'll be clicking on that link here in just a little bit after our business session. So
why you gotta say when you were in high school? That hurts a little bit. 2010, Shelby.
Yeah, just a baby. All right, Miss Whitney, we are complete with our morning session for the mini conference. So we're going to kick it over to you for all things business.
Business, yes. Well, thanks to everyone that decided to stay for the very exciting recap of our 2021 year and hearing a little bit more about what the board has been up to. If you're still on and are not a board member and are new to our organization, the Arkansas Community Development Society, our mission is really, we're a nonprofit organization that advances and empowers community development professionals and change leaders by facilitating the exchange of ideas and best practices and available resources, which obviously you're seeing exactly with what we're doing today. Our vision really is to be recognized as a connecting point for those community development professionals and change leaders throughout the state. With our conference, we always hope that we're able to draw in everyone from, any sort of leadership role in community development to, get their thoughts and ideas, but also share, ideas that have been happening across the state to where possibly maybe something works for you to take it back to your own community as well. And we also have a lot of fun. I really miss us being in person. I'm so excited that we're going to be in person in the spring because one of the best parts I think about this organization is just getting to network and talk with everybody, especially lunch. I mean, you all become such good friends over the years, and I look forward to this conference every year just because I get to see everybody in person. So I'm just going to kind of call the meeting to order, and, you know, done a little bit of a welcome. I'm the president currently of ACDS. I kind of volunteered myself to be on the board quite a few years ago, just because I wanted to help out and, you know, kind of be with all the cool people, and have worked through the awards and, you know, VP of programs. And now I've had the opportunity to be president, which has been a year. It has definitely been an interesting year. So the first thing, and if there's any other board members that would like to, you know, unmute real quick and introduce yourself, feel free. I doubt anybody's going to want to do it, but going once, going twice. Okay. I'm shocked. I'm shocked, everybody. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do here is approve our minutes from our previous board meeting. And I'm going to share my screen just so y'all can see these things. Oh yeah, I have to actually click share. That would be helpful. Good job, Whit. As you can see, we met and we always always keep attendance of who all was there. Unfortunately, I was sick at the last one. So thank you to our VP of programs, Ms. Tandy White, for very quickly taking over that meeting. As you can see, we reviewed previous minutes, and you know, we are so thrilled that we have Mayor Tamika Butler from Eudora, who popped in and stepped in to be our Southeast Arkansas representative. No updates from the corresponding secretary. And for those of you that are not on the board, our corresponding secretary is the one that is local here to Little Rock, and we'll run and check, you know, PO box and kind of be in the middle to where if we have a check that goes out, there's no one person in charge of taking the money to the bank and writing the checks and all of that. Treasurer's report was reviewed. We really did not have a whole lot of expenses, as you will see coming up when we review the treasurer's report. And then Tandy and the conference team, you know, did all of the final updates. So I am going to ask if there would be a motion to approve.
I'll motion, Whitney.
All right.
Shelby.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, say
Aye.
aye. Aye. Aye. It's really fun on Zoom to do that. Any opposed? All right, well, meeting notes approved. I'm gonna turn that off. And then next is, oops, I can't reach the thing. There it is. Do I need to make that bigger for anybody? Oh, I see a couple of nods saying, excuse me, Whitney. Here we go. As you can see, we really did not have a lot of expenses this year because we have been doing everything virtually still. The couple of things we did, we're fortunate with Crossroads Coalition, Energy and Rural Community Alliance, as you heard earlier, did some generous sponsorships for us this year, just to cover some small things. And we did, oh, it's not on there, but we did also have we're able to grant $250 to each of the speakers today, just for their time and energy. And, you know, all of us that have worked in or with a nonprofit, we know just how valuable that time is. So
it's in pending expenses.
Is it under pending? I'm just kidding. Oh yeah, there you go. Thanks, Candace. I can't read. I should scroll more. Well, and I will now make, but I'm sorry. I'm really bad at these business meetings. So you can see current balance, where we're at right now. And I do know that we are going to be hitting the ground running very soon, probably, to start planning for the spring conference and reaching out for some sponsors, because we want to make this one just a big splash of we're back in person, but also, we're transitioning to the spring. And so we'll be seeing that balance change, I'm sure, here pretty soon. So I will make a motion to approve for audit on the treasurer's report. I won't make the motion. Sorry, I will open it up for a motion. I hate this stuff.
I move that we approve the treasurer's report.
Okay. Any second?
And I'll second.
Who is that? Oh, hi. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any nay? Aye. Okay. Thank you for no naying of that. Let me get rid of that now. So, okay, I'm going to.
Hi, Whitney. Can I just ask that when someone makes a motion or seconds, if they could just state their name?
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was Tandy and
Tanya.
Okay. Let me. Oopsies. I'm trying to stop sharing. And all the heads are in the way. Where do
Did I move mine out of the way?
No. Oh, no. Stop. Oh, there. Okay.
I have a little fun.
Well, there's been some chats. Someone let me know if there was chats, if there was anything. Oh, hi. Oh, and Samantha did mention that there was a slight typo on the report. So she will make an edit and we will do another approval. Thank you. Okay, and I think that covers all of the really fun voting type of things, but wanted to let everyone know kind of where we've been at this year and kind of planning for the future. And I have a long list of notes here that I won't make y'all have to just read. We did meet for our annual kind of retreat in January, and we've discussed the treasurer's report from the previous year. We approved it with no corrections needed. We started thinking about the 2020 conference committee provided a good review of last year's virtual conference and reviewing the feedback and just what everyone had to say overall. It seemed that everyone was really pleased with the shift to virtual last year, and that, they really liked the layout and spoke highly of the conference speakers. And that was really nice to hear, just from a planning perspective, that, we weren't taking too much of everyone's time. As we mentioned earlier, mid-year, Mayor Tamika Butler joined our board to represent Southeast Arkansas, and there was a motion, and obviously she's been approved and accepted. Some of the priorities for our board this year, mainly the 2021 mini conference that we're having right now. We had to sit there and navigate if we would be in person in 2021 or would we stay virtual. Tiffany was great and sent out a survey earlier in the year to kind of gauge people's reactions on would they want in person or virtual. Really, everyone wanted in person, and then the Delta variant came in. And so we just said, we're just going to be safe and call it good on virtual throughout the rest of the year. There was a lot of discussion about the 2022 planning. For the major focus was really transitioning this conference from, it's historically always been in October. I feel like it's always October, but transitioning it more to the spring. And one of the major, I think, things that really kind of moved us in that direction was there's so many other conferences that happen throughout the year. And, part of our mission that I was just talking about was being that connector. And so we would love to be one of the earlier conferences in the year so that, tourism and rural development and everybody we can promote all of their upcoming things as well. And it's just a good opportunity for us to have more of those good connections with them. And also, we do know that with the announcement of Shelby's team over there with the CDI alumni group, that we're wanting to try to coordinate these dates to be close together so that we can see all of our CDI friends, hopefully too. We did also have a little bit of discussion about bylaws and the Constitution type of updates and what we might if we needed to be doing any of those. Major thing was making sure the wording, we were following rules with us being virtual. We were concerned a little bit about our board meetings. Did it say we had to be in person or, any of that? And so I spoke to a former longtime board member that is very knowing of the bylaws and the Constitution, and was told that really there was no reason to, the wording in there was vague enough and open enough that we didn't need to be concerned with that too much. But I do think that probably in our next meeting, we may go back through and just kind of highlight a couple and see if there are any that we're missing that we might want to tweak, because I do know that if we do want to have any of those changes, we have to send it out 30 days prior to the actual meeting that we would have in the spring. So it's just something to keep ahead of us. And really the last thing, and the thing we're probably most excited about, is we are planning an actual board retreat for early 2022. The board used to do this all the time, once a year, go out and have their meeting, but do it in a different community each time. That way you get to be around the community leaders, you can go see them, you can go eat at the restaurants. I know we've been tossing around some ideas. I don't know that we've finalized it yet, so I don't want to say specifically, but I know that we'll have that kind of worked out and be able to start coordinating the where and the when and the who's probably in the next month or so. But as always, a huge thanks to our board members for all of their hard work this year. We're a volunteer-based organization, and everyone on the board has a real-time job that pays the bills. ACDS board member, we don't get paid, and so they give up a lot of their valuable time, and I'm very appreciative, especially after the year that I've had and the way it kicked off. They really stepped up and just kept things moving there for a while. So thank y'all for that. But that is really all that I wanted to share. Is there anything that any other board members would like to say before we adjourn this fantastic and thrilling business meeting? Nope.
Hey, Whitney, I'll just say I've sent out an email to our planning committee to kind of switch a focus now over into our spring conference. So if anyone on the call is not on the committee that wants to be, please reach out to me and let me know. We can get you plugged in. But I just want to say we've got a really good group of folks that raise their hand to get involved and help us think through the whole changing of from the fall conference to the spring, and what does the mini conference look like. And I just want to say real heartfelt thank you to all of you for your input and your feedback, and especially Tiffany and Michelle for them stepping up with the speaker so strongly. That took a load off of my mind. I've been out of pocket the last couple of weeks with conferences and Leadership Arkansas and that kind of thing, and everything was in place and ready to go. So it was I did not have to worry about that at all. So thank you for that. We are switching our focus there to the spring. So looking for those hot topics we think that will be crowd drawers for our in-person conference, and also the theme, what that might look around. So I'll be sending out an email or a doodle poll to get us on the calendar to set up that next planning session and kind of talking through some of that. I've kind of identified a few dates, late March, kind of mid-April, because we want to work around Mid-South Basic. And Shelby and I've kind of talked about, the timing with UCA. So we're going to be able to kind of work around those dates. So hopefully we'll be able to pick those, that pretty quickly and get that set. And then we'll start just kind of building our straw man and what we want that to look like and the theme that we go with. And like Whitney said, we want to make this a big splash. We'll be coming back from a couple years of virtual. So Ellie, there will be door prizes in the spring. So we're gonna bring it big. So we'll be asking all the board members to look for things to bring from your community and your organizations and help bring a lot of pomp and circumstance to our spring conference. So,
hey, Ellie, since you bring it up, you could volunteer and be chief in charge of getting everyone to donate some of those.
I will definitely do that.
She's got some skills.
Hey, I love a good door prize. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
So expect the best of the best, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know. I think the last door prize I won was like some massive, ginormous 50-pound thing of saran wrap or something. So
hey, that's awesome.
We're still using on that. And I had aluminum foils too. I actually use those for my nails when I'm trying to get those.
Oh, yeah.
That's
good idea. Good. Yes, I will definitely do that. I'll volunteer. Thanks for volunteering me.
Thank you, Ellie. We are filling in the spots. Awesome. Well, that's all I wanted to share, Whitney, with the spring conference. So just appreciate everyone in advance for helping us work through that and make that a great conference in the spring. I am so looking forward to it and our in-person board meeting.
Yes. And the one thing I'll say for those, again, that have not attended one of our in-person conferences, obviously they're a little different than how these virtual ones have been going. So typically that day we have an opening with a keynote. We may have 2 or 3 other sessions throughout the day. We will feed you lunch and a lot because it's a group that likes to eat. But it's typically all day. So, but it's a lot of fun, and I highly encourage, if you haven't been to one of the in-person ones, to please join us in the spring whenever we get all the details worked out.
Can I give one more shout out? Yeah. To Tiffany and Kristen Dane for their work on our website, arcds.org. If you've not been out there and you haven't looked at it, please go out there. It does have a list of all of our board members and such on it, but they did a great job refurbishing that and taking care of our social media posts. Thank heavens we've got some folks out there to help us kind of do some outreach via those means, because you know, we've kind of, I think, been a little bit stale really for a couple of years in those areas. So glad to see those coming back up and being refreshed and reaching out there and getting some new eyes on our organization and keeping us strong. So thank you.
Yes, thank you to all of you. Well, if there's nothing else, then I will vote.
Whitney, let's get a picture real quick, because we haven't had any pictures. So I wish I had gotten one when Will.
Are you going to take it, or do I need? Okay.
Yep, I got it.
But hey, thanks for saying let's take a picture and prep to where
every
time this happens, normally I'm talking and it's like
I did take a couple screenshots, Shelby, while we were on
if you want to share
meeting.
those with me, Tandy. Yeah.
Okay.
Or whoever's on the Facebook page, I guess we'll share them with Tiffany. Okay, so everybody, I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, we should be good to go.
All right.
Now you can end.
Well, then I officially say adjourn until this afternoon when we get to hear from Christy.
Yes, 2 p.m. See you all then.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.